Greetings, fellow instructors. My name is Randy Otto. I'm the course reviser for Denominational Heritage and Structure THEO415. The previous version of this course had a book for each of the units, and the student was expected to read a book really by Wednesday or so of the week in order to be able to respond in an informed fashion to the discussion question, and then to write what was essentially a book review on each book. One of the books went out of print, so that required us to reconsider the format of the course, and the college has deemed it appropriate for us to try to phase out a lot of textbooks and try to incorporate more open access material, and that's what we've done in this course. We've also expanded the scope of the course so that there are more denominations under consideration. So, for example, the first unit has us doing not only Roman Catholicism, which was certainly a part of the previous version of the course, but also Orthodoxy. So we have the major manifestations of the church up until, well, from the mid-2nd to 3rd century on up until the Great Schism and on into today. And that is our focus of the first unit, in which they have some really good videos. One video in particular to look at, which gives them an idea of the overview of the church to the time of the Great Schism. Then there are some websites as well for them to look at, both from an Orthodox perspective as well as from the Roman Catholic perspective. Another video comparing and contrasting the two. And then they have the opportunity again to look more in depth at a discussion, a table. They're to read this table, which portrays a difference between the two manifestations of the church as well as Protestantism. And I think this will be helpful for them. So hopefully they'll be able to go over that and be able to kind of see how each compares and contrasts on certain doctrinal headings. So when they say read, that means they should look at that pretty carefully. Where it says review, on the other hand, then they are to take more time and just kind of look through what is essentially a clearinghouse of material. This is from the Catholic perspective, and they can look at a variety of doctrinal heads, basic doctrine of God and His creation, of Jesus, and so on, reflections and prayers, and there's material on the mother of Jesus, Mary, an overview of the church's teaching and doctrines explained, and so on. Church documentation on that, the papacy, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of good material there for them to look over. The discussion in each instance seeks to develop a little bit more of this organic development that we are trying to help the students understand here, the flow of how these denominations have arisen. So, for example, with the first discussion question, they have a short video to watch, and then an Orthodox deacon addresses the differences between Orthodoxy and Catholicism, and makes a statement that they're to interact with on the basis of their understanding of Scripture and means of authority in the Church, and how those vary within Protestantism as well as Catholicism and Eastern Orthodoxy. Their unit assignment for Unit 1 is to select one central doctrine held by Orthodoxy and the Catholic faith and write a paper that compares and contrasts them, 3 to 4 pages, not including title page and endnotes, and that's an APA format, of course, with at least 4 academic sources being cited. That's basically the format that we undertake in each one of these units. So then, as a result of the break-off of these two major components of the Western and Eastern Church, Western Church being Roman Catholicism, Eastern Church, Byzantine Church being Orthodoxy, then we have Unit 2 focusing on the break from the Roman Catholic Church by Luther and the Lutheran Reformation. Some wonderful videos here with really great visuals and insights, and I think the students will really appreciate those. The opportunity then to review a website from the mainline Lutheran Church in America, and then also a website that they are to look at from a breakoff of the mainline Lutheran Church, the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. And they have the opportunity to then discuss how Luther stumbled and bumbled his way into the Reformation and the place of indulgences and so on. Again, we get to the basis of authority. And this is, I think, the crux, really, of the class. Those differing understandings of authority have given a rise to these various denominations in many instances. The Unit 2 assignment is a written assignment which asks them to compare and contrast Catholicism and Lutheranism, or compare and contrast a particular doctrine and the difference between mainline Lutheranism and a breakoff version of Lutheranism, like, for example, the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. So they can do either one, and that, I think, will give them the opportunity to make some good analyses, and hopefully they can better understand these different manifestations of the church. Same thing happens in Unit 3 with regard to Anglicanism or Episcopalianism. They have some videos to watch, some websites either to read and kind of know that material, or in the case of the GAFCON, which is the Global Anglican Future Conference, that gives them the opportunity to learn a little bit more about a breakoff version of the Anglican Church. And then they discuss how Anglicanism arose and how it differs from Catholicism. Again, the issue of authority by considering the influence of Wycliffe and Tyndale amidst the faith and reign of Henry VIII. The unit assignment is a little bit different here. They have a presentation to do, a PowerPoint, 10 to 12 slides with slide notes and voice narration, again, on a key doctrinal difference between either Catholicism and Anglicanism, or between mainline Anglicanism and a breakoff like GAFCON. Unit 4 focuses on the Calvinistic faith and the Reformed Church. So we have, again, some really great videos on Calvin and the development of the early Reformed Church, some differentiation between Calvin and Bullinger, who was Zwingli's successor in Zurich. Again, website on the mainline Presbyterian Church, USA, and then the opportunity to look at some of a breakoff version of Presbyterianism, the PCA, the Presbyterian Church in America, and its beliefs, history, vision, and so on. Again, discussion focuses on those kinds of things, namely with regard to authority. The Reforms say that the main difference between them and Lutheranism is that whereas Lutherans kept their faith and liturgy and in whatever was not disallowed in Scripture, the Reformed only allowed what was clearly stated in Scripture. And that's, again, an item that has to do with authority. And so we will ask them to consider, again, that kind of concept. And then the unit for assignment is, again, a compare and contrast between either Presbyterianism or the Reformed Church and Lutheranism, or between mainline and breakoff versions of the Presbyterian Church. Unit 5 is focused on the Anabaptist movement and the rise of the Baptist Church. Again, some great videos and some opportunities to look at the beliefs of mainline Baptist Church, the American Baptist Church, and then a breakoff, Southern Baptist Church, as well as some Baptist distinctives, which I think will be very helpful for them in terms of understanding just what Baptists are all about. Discussion has to do with, again, the idea of authority and whether or not Baptists have a little different view of authority. And then the Unit 5 assignment is a written mastery assignment, which asks them to trace a particular doctrinal difference between each of the churches studied thus far and show how that difference develops out of varied views of authority. Again, I think a wonderful understanding, a way of understanding the organic development based on ideas of authority, of how different versions of the church are manifest. And then the last unit focuses on Methodism and Pentecostalism. Some good videos on the life of Wesley and the rise of Arminianism. Before that, and a brief history of the United Methodist Church, the main line, and then a break-off version, the Church of the Nazarene, and a little bit of a focus on Pentecostalism as well, because of its focus on holiness and so on. And that seems appropriate, and that also is a new addition to the class, which I think is very helpful. The discussion focuses again on ideas of authority in the Wesleyan quadrilateral, and then the last assignment asks them to discuss a key doctrinal difference between Anglicanism, out of which Methodism arose, or mainline Methodism and a break-off such as Church of the Nazarene. So that is the basic focus of the class, opportunities to learn about different manifestations of the church as they arose organically, as well as how they differ amongst versions of the same denomination. And I think this will be very helpful for the students, and I hope that you'll enjoy teaching it. I hope that it'll be a blessing.